Welcome to ABC Action News at 3. I'm Katie Lagrone. We are following Hurricane Helene after the storm with reporters throughout the Tampa Bay area and up north where Helene made landfall. But we begin with some sobering totals. We have learned 5 people in Pinellas County died during the storm. Here's what the sheriff told us.
So today we've been out there going door to door with some of these places that we weren't able to get to last night. And we have found some people who are deceased, 2 in Treasure Island, 2 in Indian Rocks Beach, and 1 in Dunedin.
Across Helene's path, the death toll is now up to 30 people from 4 different states. Meanwhile, some of our main bridges have reopened. You can now travel southbound on the Howard Franklin Bridge, while the northbound side is still closed. Over on the Gandy, westbound lanes are open, and 1 eastbound lane has now reopened. And all lanes of the Skyway are now open, though the Courtney Campbell is still closed, as well as all access to all Pinellas County barrier islands. We want to start our team coverage with ABC Action News reporter Chad Mills, who was up in Dixie County when Helene made landfall. Powerful images. Thanks, Chad. Now to an update. If you're planning to take a flight soon, Tampa International is now fully open and operational after suspending all flights Thursday. There was no major damage to their facilities. The St. Pete Clearwater International Airport has also reopened. If you are traveling today, you want to make sure you check with your airline first. Remember, the storm is still moving north and impacting other airports in its path. Our coastal areas really took a beating. Here's a look at Treasure Island this morning. You can see debris and sand scattered in the streets, but the water we saw early this morning, thankfully, has receded.
Just kind of a scary night. The water just kept coming and kept coming. Lots of wind. There was a house across the street from me that was on fire. And you see all over the place. And I guess I don't know what the wind gusts.
A frightening night for so many of us, and this is more video from Treasure Island. It's not debris, but boats in the street, parking lots, and even people's yards. In fact, I saw plenty of it while covering the storm from Shore Acres in St. Pete last night. These images really provide perspective on the power of water. Here's a look a little further north, now up in Reddington Beach. The floodwaters have receded there too, but again, more debris still covers the sidewalks, and you can see some sand is still piled up on the roads. Meanwhile, here are some pictures coming out of MacDill Air Force Base. The base received significant storm surge, and they're still dealing with flooding along the low-lying areas of the base. The water is expected to recede as the day progresses. Power is out across much of the base, and there's still a lot of debris covering the roads there as well. The base will remain closed as their hurricane recovery team assesses and works to restore power to the area. People in Tampa are being asked to reduce their use of water as city makes repairs to the wastewater infrastructure. 2 wastewater pumping stations are now down due to flooding, including one that processes customer wastewater. But officials tell us there is no risk of consumption. Water from faucets and showers is still safe to drink. Flooding in the Apollo Beach and Ruskin area has caused damage to wastewater pumping systems in South Hillsborough County as well. People who live west of I-75 and south of Alafaya River are asked to minimize wastewater producing activities such as bathing, washing clothes and dishes, and even flushing. Repairs will be made after floodwaters recede, most likely this afternoon and into the evening. The county will announce when those repairs are complete and the pump station is once again operational. Meanwhile, here in Hillsborough County, there are still thousands of people dealing with power outages and, of course, all that water. Earlier this morning, we spoke with Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister. He's been coordinating crews and rescue efforts throughout the night and today.
So as you can imagine, it was a long and a very busy night. Over 3,000 calls for service. We rescued over 300 individuals. Couldn't be more proud of the men and women of the Sheriff's Office and all the individuals that they saved last night and how hard and dedicated they've been working. Today we wake up. There's a lot of people that still need to be saved. They're busy finding out that they have water in their home and, hey, listen, I need that helping hand. So The water in Town and Country and Dana Shores area has rescinded, so the rescues and calls for service have diminished a little bit there. What we're focused on now is our cut teams. Our cut teams are out there working with chainsaws, all the trees that have fell down. We're trying to free the roadways for emergency vehicles and also for those utility vehicles to get that power restored back to our community as quickly as possible. This morning at around 6 o'clock this morning, we were at 91,000 without power. Utility companies have done an amazing job. We're down to 61,000 people without power. So my biggest fear right now is the storm surge that came true down the south end of the county is where it really came true. And all this water now has to drain somewhere. So all the residents that live within any type of proximity of the Alafai River, there's going to be a second dose of flooding coming, and my heart goes out to all of them.
And now a first check of weather with meteorologist Shay Ryan. Boy, Shay, what a night, and thankful to see the sun today.
Yes, without a doubt. We've had a good weather day for recovery and for cleanup. And you can see right now we do still have some hazy sunshine out there, but overall conditions are still looking pretty good. We haven't had much rainfall, and we're not going to see very much, if any, through the rest of the afternoon and evening and into the overnight. So again, we do still have at least through sunset tonight where we've got some good weather here for cleanup. Now, as far as the temps go, we're in the upper 80s to about 90 degrees. Definitely hot and steamy out there. And you can see we've had just a couple of showers moving across the state, and it's been moving pretty quickly, in fact. Now, as we look at the next few hours, we've got a mix of clouds, some sunshine. The temps will remain pretty consistent for another hour or two and then start to fall back through the 80s. As we get past sunset, they're going to start to level off. We will have quite a bit of cloud cover overnight, and our winds are starting to shift to the south overnight. That's going to tap into that warmer, more humid air to the south, and that means that we're tapping into higher chances for rain and more humidity. So it's going to get more uncomfortable over the weekend once we get into that daytime heating. So it'll be hotter, steamier, and we'll have more afternoon showers and storms. I'll show you more on that coming up in just a few more minutes. Katie?
Thanks, Shay. Now we want to go to our Anthony Hill, who's been on Davis Islands today, listening to how people are dealing with the storm's aftermath. Anthony.
Absolutely. We have been driving all around Davis Islands all day today, observing the aftermath, the cleanup, and the damage that Hurricane Helene caused. You can see just how strong the winds got as this tree was knocked down last night at some point during the night.
Great resilience. And we do have a programming note to pass along. Because of our storm coverage last night, we weren't able to bring you the season premieres of ABC's popular shows 911 and Grey's Anatomy, but we are going to air those for you this Sunday night. 911 will be at 8 p.m. and you can catch Grey's at 9. Still ahead on ABC Action News at 3, we're seeing new video from Cedar Key as one man documented his harrowing trek through the storm surge. The Polk County Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue are coming together to help out residents in Perry. The resources they're now sending to the Big Bend to help residents there recover once again.
ABC Action News is sponsored by Culpeper Curland.
We are hearing from FEMA's administrator as Tropical Depression Helene makes its way up the East Coast, still a very dangerous storm.
I think the greatest risk right now is that this is still a very dangerous situation. Even though some of the storm surge is receding in Florida, it's still, the water is there and it's dangerous. And you need to exercise extreme caution in Florida if you're going out and starting to check in on your home. But if you are still in the path of the storm, with the flash flooding that you're seeing in Atlanta, what we expect to see in North Carolina, I'm worried about landslides in those areas. And so there's such a variety of threats.
FEMA's boss also warned people to be aware that tornadoes can form as Helene moves further north. We want to go to Cedar Key now to show you the high water that came through the small fishing village as storm surge pushed ashore. Here you can see the rushing water taking over streets and buildings, and we're hearing from the man who shot this video as Hurricane Helene slammed the small city.
That building there is going to come apart. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Say a prayer, friends. Oh my gosh. Get back out of the Around. Godspeed, Cedar Key. This is Whidden heading down the Gulf. I was trying to make it to my mama's house, but it's neck deep here.
Oh, wow. Wow, that was Michael Presley Bobbitt talking as he shot the video. He says the weather made it into the water made it into the museum in Cedar Key as well. From Cedar Key to another popular Florida destination, Tarpon Springs. This was the scene this morning right along one of the main strips of town. You can see that water is still in the street. We also got a chance to go inside a store that was flooded out overnight. Some water still on the ground, and of course all that merchandise knocked over. ABC Action News reporter Mary O'Connell is there right now. She joins us live. Mary, how's the scene right this second?
Yeah, well, the word that I've heard used to describe the damage from this storm surge that business owners saw overnight is devastating. From all the folks that we spoke to today here at the Sponge Docks in Tarpon Springs, they say they had at least 4 feet of water inside their businesses. Now, I want to show you some video here so you can get an idea of what we're talking about. The water last night was over the headlights of a city truck that had been parked at an intersection to block the road. People here had put up tarps lined with sandbags, sealed their doors, but unfortunately they pointed out it was no match for the water that rushed in. The flooding now has certainly receded from the severe surge that we saw last night, and we caught up with one woman we had actually spoken with after Tropical Storm Debbie as they were preparing for any potential surge they saw then. She told me they've never seen it like it was last night.
Devastation. I just walked in and everything is wet. This is one of our stores. I mean, you can see the water went all the way to the back. We have stuffed animals on the floor. We have clothing on the floor. In our store next door, they said the water was 4 feet deep in every one of our stores. And all the clothing is wet. Everything is ruined.
Now, many business owners were out here cleaning up this morning, sweeping out water, picking up and piling things to toss that had been water damaged. This is just day one of the cleanup process with many days ahead. Now, the other word that I heard from folks, aside from this was devastating damage, is that these people are resilient here, and the neighbors are going to help neighbors to get these business owners back on their feet. Katie.
Indeed, we are good like that in Tampa Bay. Thanks, Mary. Now on to Crystal River, where its mayor, Joe Meek, shared an update on his city. The mayor said the water is slowly receding, but is still high throughout Crystal River and in some homes and businesses. Now, once the water recedes, staff from Public Works and Disaster Management will start clearing debris out of the roadways. Mayor Meek said power companies will do assessments on utility equipment, and once safe, residents will be able to get back into their homes. The Polk County Sheriff's Office and Fire Rescue are coming together to help out people in Perry. They're sending 45 members to the Big Bend area. This is the third major storm the city of Perry has experienced within just the past 13 months. In fact, I spent a week in Perry last year following Idalia. Crews from Polk County will be handing out food, clearing debris from roads, and helping hurricane victims get back on their feet. We watched all yesterday as the water levels just got higher and higher in the city of Gulfport. That's where we find ABC Action News reporter Adam Walser today surveying the damage. Adam.
Well, there's quite a bit of damage here, but also a good testament to the human spirit here with everybody helping their neighbors out. Now, we were underwater. This part was underwater this time yesterday and last night during our live shots. You may have seen this piece of dock that actually broke off from someone's pier and floated right in the middle of Beach Boulevard, the main street of the waterfront district here in Gulfport. You can see the devastation's amazing. This was all covered in water, 3 blocks up, as high as 7 feet at some points, about 2 or 3 feet right here where we're standing. But luckily, the Gulfport Brewery right here didn't suffer as much damage as some of its neighbors because it's built a little bit higher. So they are chipping in right now and trying to help the community. They've been serving burgers and hot dogs and so forth. And this is Sierra Espinosa. You've been over there hitting that grill all day, right?
Yes, we have.
How many people have you cooked for so far?
I would say probably at least 200 to 300 people, absolutely.
How much does this mean to the community that they have a place where they can come, get something to eat, get something to drink?
Well, with how devastating everything is, you know, it's really the least we can do. Everybody has been so appreciative about everything. And really, I mean, if you see the outcome that we have, it's really impressive. It means so much to everybody, for sure.
Now, one of the things that I've seen is just tremendous devastation here. Lots of people's stores, their homes, their businesses just almost completely destroyed by this record storm surge, something that nobody's ever seen in this community.
Ever seen.
But what I've also seen here are a lot of smiles. Most of the people are not grumpy, are they?
No, we're all here to help each other. You know, we'll be back as soon as you know it.
And of course, people from the community are helping out as well. They're donating stuff right on this dock right here. People are constantly bringing stuff they're purchasing from stores. They're helping out the community. We see bottled water, snacks, bleach, gloves, things to help the people clean up and get back to work. One fellow right here is bringing some clothing. So obviously the community is helping out as we're trying to recover from the hurricane. It's going to be a many-week process. This is just the very first stage of this, and coming up later tonight, we're going to show you exactly what that damage was here in Gulfport. Reporting live in Gulfport, Adam Walser, ABC Action News.
Thanks, Adam. Now here's drone footage from St. Armand's Key and Lido Key that shows the impact of Hurricane Helene. Sarasota police say the area experienced significant flooding and storm surge. Our communities closest to the coast definitely saw the worst of it yesterday. So we turn now to ABC Action News reporter Jada Williams to get a look at how St. Pete Beach is doing today. Good afternoon to you, Jada.
Good afternoon. This is definitely a view that not a lot of people in the community, even people who live here and they evacuated, aren't able to get. That's because access to the barrier islands, including St. Pete Beach, are still blocked off. And this is going to put it into perspective for you. This right here is Woody's Waterfront Restaurant. Now, the reason that I'm even here today was we came over here for a press conference. Take a look at what's happening right here. This restaurant is completely gutted. It sits right on the water, and as you can see, there is a lot of the equipment. Someone walked by and they said, wow, the pots and pans are right here. Some of the AC units, microwaves, things like that are all out. Now, I'm also talking to people in this community, and they are just absolutely devastated by all of this. A lot of them are saying that the people who live on St. Pete Beach, it's a small, tight-knit community. I tried to talk to a lot of them, and they said that, you know what, they'll probably break down on tears and on the camera, and they didn't want to do that because this is just a really tough pill to swallow for all of them in the community. A lot of them now saying, what do I do next? And that's not even when it comes to repairing, just about getting food. I talk to people who say, if I leave this island to get food, I can't come back. I have to figure out where I'm going to go. I talk to people on the other side of the bridge saying that I'm just trying to get home. Some of the law enforcement officials telling them that they could have 4 days to wait before they even see what's happening over here. Here's another really interesting thing that I saw. See this dock right here? This belongs to a restaurant that is way, way down the street. So the way that the wind and the water just whipped everything around one of the apartments out here on St. Pete Beach, there is a dumpster behind it, and the dumpster barely even fits back there. And the person who took me back there said, you know, I have no idea where this dumpster came from. I have no idea where these things in my backyard came from, but they showed up. We see cars that have floated into each other and crashed. There's a lot of devastation out here. A lot of people very clearly, visibly, and understandably upset by it all. But there's also a lot of people in this community that are walking around, checking in on their neighbors, just saying, hey, how are you doing? What can I do to try to help you as much as I can? And they're all saying that they won't get past this because St. Pete is still a family. The people who live here on this beach, they say that as long as they have each other, they'll weather the storm. I'll send it back to you, Katie.
Thanks so much. And you know, Shay, those are the stories, right, that we remember. It's like we hate covering the storm, but we love hearing about how people are pulling together.
Yeah, that is the bright light that occurs when it's such a devastating situation like what we're experiencing right now. So, all right, as far as the weather is concerned, that has been working in our favor today for the cleanup. And you can see, although it does look a little gray out there, we've been pretty dry, not perfectly dry, but it has been certainly more dry hours today than wet ones. 87 degrees right now in Tampa. It feels like 93, so the humidity hasn't been that terrible. Winds are now shifting more southerly. That's going to tap into some deeper moisture, and it is going to start feeling more humid over the next couple of days, and the temps will be coming back up. So right now we're shifting from more of a west wind to a southwest, and eventually tomorrow and Sunday it'll be a southerly flow. And when that happens, we start to notice more humidity and more rain chances starting to develop into the area. And in fact, we will have chances for rain tomorrow even before noon. We're not talking about any heavy rain totals or high rain totals that would create problems, but it certainly is going to get in the way from trying to clean up and get things done outside. So again, that is going to be seen here on the Futurecast as we get into tomorrow early in the day. This is even 9 o'clock in the morning. Some of our southern counties seeing those heavier rain showers, and then it'll become hit or miss through the rest of the day as it moves from south to north. And that will be the case again on Sunday with that same pattern. Now, as far as tropical depression Helene, now the remnants here that you're seeing to the north, again, not a very impressive system at this point, and will continue to deteriorate, and the remnants will remain here over the southeast. Now, I know we've got this area here in yellow, and it's not what we want to be seeing at the moment. The good news is that the models are very split. So again, this is something we watch, but not something to worry about at the moment. Let's focus on what we need to. And again, we'll keep a real close eye on it and keep you posted. As far as what's going on out in the Atlantic, that is no threat to us. So again, we will just continue to monitor the tropics as we always do. And as far as tomorrow morning goes, temps are going to be in the 70s. So again, we wake up to temps pretty close to average for this time of year. And tomorrow we'll top out in the upper 80s to about 90 degrees. And it is going to be more hot and steamy, like I said, over the next couple of days. So maybe not as comfortable as today to get out there and clean up the yard, but we will also have more showers to move through and help cool us down temporarily. And then into next week, we're a little bit drier and a little bit hotter. Katie?
Thanks, Shay. Check out this video from the U.S. Coast Guard as they rescued a man, or rather a picture, and his dog from the water. They were taken to Southwest Florida International Airport to meet with EMS workers. The boat was adrift and disabled. Still ahead, we're taking you to Manatee County to check in on the damage some business owners are now dealing with. You're watching ABC Action News at 3. We have crews positioned closer to where Hurricane Helene made landfall. ABC Action News anchor Paul Agrone started in Tallahassee yesterday and made his way to Perry today, getting a closer look at the damage. Paul, what are you hearing and seeing today in a community that has been hit so hard in just 13 months?
Yeah, that's right, Katie. And we were here last year for Hurricane Idalia when it swept through Perry here where we are right now. And I do want to be clear, the damage here today after Hurricane Helene is nothing like it was with Hurricane Idalia last year. But there is damage. Take a look. That is sections of a roof. That roof came from that house across the street here in Perry. And as you come with me, we'll walk you through this street of debris that we found. And again, you'll come down one street and it's like this. It's a total mess. This tree snapped in half by the damaging winds from Helene last night. But you go down another street and it's completely clear. Very sporadic, kind of street to street, how it plays out. You see the tarps there on that roof, though. That was from Hurricane Idalia last year. So these folks, they've gone through 3 hurricanes in 1 year. Helene last night, Debbie last month, Idalia last year. There are blue tarps still from Idalia all over the town of Perry. Up in Tallahassee earlier this morning, we spoke with a gentleman. A tree came crashing down on 3 cars at his home. Here's what he told us. Listen. Tell me how it went down.
Just got a strong gust of wind, and next thing you know, we just heard a tree fall. First we thought it was this tree here, but it was the neighbors, so yeah.
What was that like when it happened, and what did you hear?
Everybody in the house jumped up.
Really?
Yeah, everybody jumped up and panicked. And when we took a peek outside, at first we didn't see all the damage he did here.
Yeah.
The only thing we noticed was that car, the Camaro, that was damaged. And then we, once the rain calmed down, we got to assess it a little more. And we noticed just how bad it damaged these 3 vehicles. So,
is this your car?
This one is.
I'm sorry. But are everyone okay physically?
Yeah, everyone's
this is my house.
Yeah,
I'm the homeowner. How are you doing today?
We're doing pretty good. Just the damage that my neighbor's tree did.
Yeah. And it's the pine tree, and I guess it was. Do you think it was the wind or the water that saturated in the
tree was dead. They put that tape on it.
Yeah.
Months ago. The tree was dead, so it didn't take much for it to come out.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't take much. 3 cars totaled by one big pine tree up in Tallahassee. Meanwhile, back here in Perry, I tell you, they're just storm weary. 3 hurricanes, 1 year. They're hoping that at least for this hurricane season, they're ready to turn the page, and hopefully this is the final chapter for them in 2024. But as we know, we're still watching some activity in the tropics as cars are coming by here. The cleanup is beginning. I will say the cleanup here in Perry and parts beyond that we saw here today, very active. They are out and about. They are getting it done, and they're getting on these scenes quick. So that's the good news, and neighbors are working together. We actually just saw, how you doing? We just saw the neighbor here give a piece of their roof back across the street. So neighbors are helping each other. They're being good to each other, and that's what you got to do. You got to stick together and get it done, right? We'll send it back to you, Katie.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Paul. People in our southern counties are getting a closer look at the damage left behind today. We stopped by Annie's Bait and Tackle in Manatee County. It's in the Cortez community. The owner walked us through his restaurant, showing us what was left. He tells us this storm was unlike any other he's experienced.
No comparison. Never had water before, ever. I've lost some docks, power outages, you lose some food and stuff, but this one's total.
We have heard that sentiment so much, haven't we? The owner says he will try to reopen, but does not know when that will happen. All right, now we are going to head over to Kylie for a look at where she is at. Kylie.
Hi, Katie. Thank you so much. So, yes, we want to give you guys an update on Siesta Key. When we checked in with you last night, we're in Sarasota now. The bridge, the North Bridge, was closed at that point to get out to the Key. It has since reopened where we were able to get out there this morning, but now it is closed to residents. And just so we don't confuse you, we are just outside of the John Ringling Causeway behind me right now, where if you are a resident of Bird Key, you are being allowed in, but only if you have proof of that residence, as we're kind of checking in on the different access points out to the barrier islands. But coming back to Siesta Key, the reason why they said, you know what, we need only residents at this point is because it was hindering some of the rescue efforts. Now, the video that you're looking at now, this is from our visit earlier today. You can see some roads still flooded, forcing cars to turn back around in certain areas. We saw crews bringing out generators to restore power, a lot of movement to get this community back on its feet, working to clear roads. But this only provides a glimpse into the damage. We want you to look at this aerial footage from Sarasota County of Siesta Key Beach to give you more perspective and show more of the flooding in the light of day. This was taken at 11 o'clock this morning. We met with a mother and daughter out in this area as you're seeing this whole community really underwater. They chose to stay, and in the last 18 years, they tell us that nothing that they've seen has come close to this.
I've never seen anything like this with the amount of water. We were more afraid of the wind, but then when the storm surge came in, things started floating away, like boats and kayaks.
Our neighbors' kayaks were just like in the
boat ramps and everything, so it was pretty scary. We saw our neighbors across the canal. They were just trying to sweep it out and stay in time with the water coming up.
Yeah.
Because we didn't expect it would come up over the seawall, which it did.
And you guys, some recovery efforts are more clear than others in terms of the dangers. When you see water over the road, you know that is something that you are taking a risk if you try to drive through, but less Others are less obvious. We want to talk about our own experience. We're not too far behind us where we were just parked. One of the transformers blew and started smoking, likely water still in from when it was actually flooding. We say that because there can be some hidden dangers at times. So we alerted law enforcement so they can call that in. Obviously, you don't want there to be a fire that starts. And so that just shows you this is very much still an active situation. As we continue to check in with you this afternoon, you're also going to be hearing more from Sarasota Police Department about some rescue efforts that have happened out in these barrier islands where people chose to stay. We're live in Sarasota. Kylie McGivern, ABC Action News.
Thanks, Kylie. Still ahead on ABC Action News at 3. All new drone video from Sarasota showing the dramatic impact of Helene after the storm. We have some new drone video from the Sarasota Police Department. Here you can see the storm surge in daylight that overtook many area streets. Police are asking drivers to stay off the roads until all the water recedes and it's safe to drive. And remember the old saying, turn around and don't drown. Now let's get a first check of our weather right here at 3. Meteorologist Shay Ryan is here. Shay, how's the weekend looking after quite an eventful week?
Yeah, well, we are looking at a mixed bag over the weekend, but at least for right now, we're still looking pretty dry. Conditions have been favorable throughout the day here, as you can see, as we're looking over Harbor and Davis Islands, that we do at least have some hazy sunshine and dry conditions. Now, as we continue looking here at the temps, it is hot and steamy. The winds are coming out of the southwest, and this is key because even though we have these gusts at about 20-25 miles per hour, the wind gusts are going to be coming down and the winds will be shifting to the south. That's going to tap into a bit of more moisture. So even though right now it only feels 6 degrees warmer than the temp on the thermometer, we're going to start to notice those heat indices coming up over the weekend, and along with that, higher chances for rain. So right now, those winds again coming from the west to southwest, but as soon as we get that southerly flow, it's going to start feeling well above those temps in the afternoon. And again, we will see some rain showers moving across the area. I'll have more on that coming up in the full forecast. We'll be right back after the break.
Our team coverage continues now. ABC Action News reporter JJ Burton has been in Dunedin since yesterday. He joins us live from the shopping plaza near Bayshore Boulevard and Causeway Boulevard. JJ, I assume they have some major damage there. What is it looking like?
Lots of damage. All the businesses on this side of the plaza definitely have some water damage. And I want to show you up here, if you can look up to the roof there. And that's why, because the roof is basically ripped off. There was some damage from a storm last year with the roof, but then last night, that storm come through and just took it all the way off. And we are here talking to Hunter Sweetokus, right? Sweetokus. I told you I was going to mess that up, right? And with the gym, you work here at the gym, and a lot of damage inside there as well, right?
Yeah. Earlier this morning when I came in to open, there was pretty much a little more than ankle deep, and we opened the doors and water's just rushing out.
You can walk inside and see some of the damage there, right?
Yeah.
And walk inside, and so you said you opened this door and water just coming out.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it was extremely flooded all around here. Like, you can see right here where the water was actually lined up against and everything, and it was worse when behind the desk actually over here and everything.
We're going to walk behind the desk and you just say water all the way over here.
Yeah.
Any equipment that was damaged or anything like that?
Equipment-wise, mostly like shirts just got wet, supplements, some boxes like protein shakes, stuff like that. A lot of the equipment over here, though, not necessarily. It's more just the flooring and the mats that really got the damage.
A good thing, too, is you see a lot of the people who are members here, and as well as people who live nearby, just came by to help you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we got here first thing in the morning, and a lot of our coworkers are here working and everything. And next thing you know, about an hour and a half later, there's tons of workers and tons of people just here and everything helping us.
Thanks. And that's the story we're hearing. A lot of people coming out to help, and again, a lot of damage out here, but people in the neighborhood coming out to help. There's also a business owner talked to with an arcade down there, and he lost everything. It's a really sad story, and he's hoping that he can rebuild, but he's going to definitely need help. We're going to talk to him at 4:30, and you'll hear from his story. Reporting live in Dunedin, I'm JJ Burton, ABC Action News.
Thanks. Thanks, JJ. Shay, I've got, I know, a lot of cleanup in my own front yard. How's the weather looking like for that this weekend?
Yeah, we are going to have dry hours, so we've got that going for us over the weekend, but we'll have more rain than what we've had today. So it's not perfect, but certainly an improvement from where we've been. 87 degrees right now in Tampa, 89 in Ruskin and in Valrico. Ellington right now, one of the hot spots at 91 degrees, Sebring at 92. Looking at the radar, we haven't had a lot of rain. That certainly has been working in our favor for cleanup today. But we are going to see those winds shifting from the southwest to the south. And as that happens, we tap into some deeper moisture, and that allows more humidity and greater chances for rain over the next 24 to 48 hours. So you can see how those showers develop even before noon tomorrow. It doesn't look like it's going to be widespread, and it's certainly not problematic rain in the sense that it's going to be heavy or high rainfall totals that would cause any extra flooding or anything along that. So I don't want you to get concerned about that, but it may be disruptive if you're trying to clean up your yard, and that would be the extent of it. So again, it'll move it through pretty quickly. It'll be hit or miss throughout the afternoon, and then we'll be drying out for at least a period of time before we have a chance for that rain to develop again on Sunday. So again, it's we are watching what's left of Helene well to our north, and again, it will continue to just wring itself out as it continues to deteriorate here right around Kentucky, Tennessee over the next 24 hours. We are watching two areas of interest in the tropics. Again, anything close to us in the Caribbean or in the Gulf of Mexico will be particularly of interest to us. At this point, it has got a low chance of development, so we'll watch that area. Otherwise, out in the Atlantic, we're not overly concerned that that would have any impact on our weather. So tomorrow we start the day with more of what we typically see around here. Temps in the 70s, end the day in the upper 80s to about 90 degrees with pretty average chances for rain. We'll be right back after the break.